It's May 31st, 2025. Well, you know what I did? I drove up to Ravenna. A lot of the guys that work the case are up in Ravenna, including the feds. Okay? Including the feds. Okay? So I went up there, went through all this. Okay? Came home, picked up Carl, went out to Golden Corral. People were inside, and they said we all heard those dirty police officers saying they weren't going to help you because you told on those people in that hospital. Nobody thinks this is funny, them saying they wouldn't help you because you told on those people. Okay. Went back to Walmart 62, let Carl go in. You know, I've been thinking about a lot of this. Now, I want you to think how stupid this is. Where everybody, they were even saying stuff in Bob Evans. We all heard those police officers saying they didn't help you because you told on those people. It was the Florida drug cartel in Texas. They weren't the Portage County sheriffs. Nope. For one thing, I talked to the police. They said, well, the Portage County sheriffs can't come down in Stark County and work your case anyways. They don't have jurisdiction. Their jurisdiction stops at the county. The next county officers would have to pick it up. They have no authority. They couldn't be down here. Well, see, that's where March 13, 21, okay? Where I was bashed in the back of the head, stabbed in the neck, bashed in the back of the head, being raped and left for dead. In protective custody, there's a video. Okay? Got the size of a ball peen hammer in the back of my head. Alright, I had migraines for 2 to 3 years. Half of my head felt like it was going to explode. To cover it up, they made up a scam with a chip. That the FBI had grabbed me and chipped me. They started in January of 19 in front of the police and feds in Walmart 62 saying that stuff. They were saying it everywhere. Okay? Well, March 13, 21, we're 2 years later. Okay? Tired of it. Tired of it. I go in to the emergency room. My head is killing me. Head is killing me. I'm sitting there, and this heavy-set white lady with short white hair had told people she was Michelle's mother. Okay? She comes in right in front of people in the hospital real loud. The FBI chipped you because they wanted the truth out of you. I just glared at her. I thought, get on my face. She's with the cartel. 2 women walk in, and I forget who else was with them. They're flashing badges, and they're talking about the FBI and getting them back. They're cartel, too. They're cartel. Okay? Dr. Alan Antinez comes in, and he's feeling around on my head. And I tell him how I got jumped. He said, well, we'll do a CAT scan. He goes to walk out of the room, closes the curtain. If there was 2 guys talking, and said, some damn bastard neurochipped her, I know. Pulling the scam of the chip. Alright, I go to use the bathroom. A nurse is on the phone with that weird Eric. Okay? And she's bad-mouthing me with him. A patient in the hospital. Okay? I use the bathroom, I come back, and their security walks by calling me bad names. I leave. There's people in there talking about the gunshot night and everything. Okay? I leave and I go over to Mercy Medical. I tell them my ex-husband tried to have me killed and he had people run scams on me. Be alert if they show up. I go in the back and the nurse comes in and she's talking to me, and she leaves the room, and I hear a woman outside. No man was ever to touch her. Okay? Nurse comes back in. The only thing they had you on was adjusting yourself. The guy standing there said, "That's sick." Said, "No, it's really funny. She simply wiped off water with clothes on." The guy said, "That's sick." Said, "No, it's funny. She brushed it off. They didn't have anything else." It's actually really funny. Well, with them impersonating the FBI under surveillance. Now, I know I don't have to report it because, like an investigator said, it's set up anywhere she's at. The police can hear her so they can come help her. We set it up that way, not for them to ignore me and pretend they care. Where the police outside my apartment, 1 o'clock in the morning, were saying she told on those people in the hospital. They were cartel. They weren't Portage County sheriffs. That was cartel. Trying to frame the FBI. Pull a fast one. This whole thing's a wreck because she said stuff. We're going to get into that one. Okay, the first month of the case, a little white man showed up at Woodforest in front of the police and the FBI. "For every idle word you tell on us, I'll turn it on you. Try to leave, Dave, I'll list you a child molester. You know that bruise on your leg? I used sodium pentothal on you. You know, you said you were wearing this one nightgown. You bent over improperly once. They accidentally seen your butt and you had a life of pain from it. And then threatens me again. I went home to a legally booked house and Dave debunked it. And they only seen the back of my knees. Okay? And I was dressed modestly. Okay? And then they would say how they drugged me and we had bruises before throwing up and infected. It was us. We had drugged you and told you to say this. We had drugged you and told you to say that. We photoshopped all our lives. Laugh at me in Walmart and other stores how they frame me. In 18. By January 19, it was effeminate white people at the toilet. Okay? By the second month of the case, I don't think it's the third, they came up and the cartel was talking. Will found another way of making money off the case. He's selling the login for $25 a pop. Then everybody had it. He made millions. Bill from the Freemasons made millions. Okay? Even Daniels, one of his middle school teachers, had it. Everybody knows what's going on but her family. Everybody had it. Up in North Canton, around Middle Branch, teenagers were talking a year and a half ago. That church thinks they're so big and bad, sending out emails. And they're sending out the login so they can see how they had her hurt. My parents said that's why you don't go to churches like that. They're occults. Or they would have never said a word to her and never harmed her. Bill from the Freemasons sold the login. I started at Faith Family Church in January of 19, and they were selling the login up there to 3,000 people. I went in 21. I went into Pennsylvania, Virginia, also went into Kentucky and Illinois, and they had the login. It's on the internet. It is M13 was hacking protected custody cases and live streaming. That Bill from the Freemasons sold government technology. And announced it. I am under police surveillance. That they were doing it for him. Okay? So, since everybody has it, even down to little kids, to ladies, truck drivers, nursing homes. Do you know how many places I go, even out of state? And they mention the case. So, they mention the case. Because it's on the internet. Like the teenager said, that church thinks they're funny sending out those emails, showing how big and bad they are, and sending the login in so they can see it, show people how bad they had or hurt. The church is just emailing it out. So, since, like the FBI said, we're going to talk FBI, April 19th, 25, Hartville. Show up. How dumb are these people? You won't believe how dumb they are. She calls the FBI hotline. And they immediately walk into an FBI office and admit that they were illegally monitoring on their own. And they already knew she called the FBI. And trust me, nobody ever fell for the dirty doctor scam, having you confessing your crimes, having it till Dave wanted a divorce. Nobody fell for that. And it sounded mechanical, and then we knew they altered everything, and it was them and not you. And nobody fell for the weird with yourself. We knew it was photoshopped or washing yourself in the shower, and they photoshopped everything. But if they're going to be that dumb and come in and confess to us what they were doing to her, we told Agent John to go tell on her to that other church before he talked to her. And act dumb like these people so we can find out who's all involved. Okay? April 19th, 25. Like they said, there's videos of the FBI calling these people dumb. That's why Agent John was up there telling on me. It's an act to get the drug cartel. So you got to think, they go in and tell the office they already know. An agent goes tells hundreds of people at a church, so they know. Everybody knows before I'm an informant, before he even talks to me, like they said, before I even talk to her, go up and act up. And then that Will found another way of making money off the case. He sold the login. He's selling the login for $25 a pop. And everybody knows. Like they said, everybody knows what's going on but her family. So that's where investigators have said, what are these people saying that she would dare say something? These people were illegally monitored her. They already knew and confessed to the FBI. They already knew. One of their agents went up and told on that church, told hundreds of more people. Then these people sold the login to the case. It don't matter who she tells. No, they just want to stay quiet. Well, they get away with it. See, when I do my speeches, put common sense and laws behind their foolishness, they can't do it. So why were they so upset that I told on those people in Altman Hospital? They were the cartel. Amy on the end department, she's in a wheelchair. She heard him laughing about the chip and that it was a scam. They were telling people in January 19 to cover up the attempted murder. Oh, and then priceless. This idiot came up to me. They beat me on the stairway. And some bitch came up to me. If you try to tell that Dave beat on you, I'll have a doctor write it up that you hurt yourself. So I taped him admitting he beat me. Don't mess with me. Then she's like, if you tell on us that we hurt you, we'll turn it around on you and say you did it to yourself. Psycho. Oh, when I was at Altman Family Physicians, you know, that scam from Bill from the Freemasons, where they've all been talking about, even the police got it. You know what? I couldn't figure out why when the North Jackson police talk about the case. Hartville, Starr County Sheriffs, Massillon Police, Cam Police, Akron Police, Summit County Sheriffs, all talk about the case. And Louisville acts dumb. I have even said, when one of you officers go share the locker room with them, I feel bad they act dumb. But them saying they don't care if I get hurt, they're not going to help me, they're not going to protect me because I dare tell on the cartel being in that hospital? That don't even make sense. And me telling on what's going on here, they already sold the lock and everybody knows. It just makes me feel better to report it. Like an investigator said, we have it set up that the police can hear her no matter where she's at. So they can come help her if she needs it. Not for you to sit back and let everything happen. And they were saying how they got the surveillance in Walmart. How the drug cartel said this whole thing is a scam from Bill from the Freemasons. And that doctor isn't one of hers. He works for them. And they had lied. They were trying to say some attorney did it, so it made it legal. It makes it more illegal. I know it does. Police and agencies can only be in a home under a threat of life with statements in a court order without a conflict of interest. Not some dirty attorney and his doctor friend running a drug scam on somebody. That's crazy. And it's not my doctor, and I don't know who either one of them is. I've never met them. You talk about sexual predator, scary stuff. And like they said this was a whole scam. They were laughing about it in another mall. Summit County Sheriffs already know it's a scam. They know the case. That's where, what the hell? Well, apparently the other cops didn't trust him. That's sad. That is very sad. Very sad. But that explains more if they were supposed to be watching me while I was human trafficked here. Why I was raped and tortured and nobody came to help me. Because they don't care. My friend Walter worked at the Starr County Prosecutor's Office. Said 2 Canton police officers let someone in the witness protection program get hurt. They got the choice of resigning right away and leaving, or they were being arrested. They were no longer allowed on the police department. You cannot let someone get hurt no matter what. And there's a court order from a judge in Starr County for protective custody from the police, immunity and money for an FBI informant. There's a court order. Like Walter said from the prosecutor's office, they can never legally drop you. You will be in protective custody the rest of your life. For those people try to kill you and they can wait to try to kill you again. You're in an attempt and a threat life and an informant case. You have to be in protective custody the rest of your life. And there's a court order. So they're defying a court order. Why don't you think about that? But yeah, they were even outside. They said the investigators looking into this Well, who the hell's interfering in an FBI case? Seriously, who the hell's interfering in all this shit? They're causing more chaos. Said they got that all out from Walmart, Walmart surveillance. That they're even, the other cartels are threatening war. I know they are. That they're tired of Bill from the Freemasons. And his scam. That they were, where they're saying they were making fun of his scam up in Summit Mall. Oh, I know that. May 25th, 25, Hollister's in Summit Mall. Teenage boys were laughing about this. Cackling. We heard that Bill from the Freemason run a really big scam here. Had somebody going and tape her showering, washing herself. Can you imagine somebody taping somebody washing themselves in the shower? Then he photoshopped that in another room. Then he had some guy go in and drug her up and tell her to say something like that. Could you imagine drugging somebody up and telling someone to say that? Can you imagine that? And then he ran a contest off of it. Who could come up with the best scam to steal her informant money? And tricked everybody into helping out. And they all fell for it and they're cackling. Well, May 26, 25, Walmart 62, the cartel, how tired they are of Bill and the Freemasons. Walmart announced it. And there's that other cartel, who does Bill from the Freemason think he is? And having that cartel say that he needs to take care of Michelle for telling on him that that doctor was not one of hers, but worked for them. And they lied. They're not the one running it. We are. Do they want to start a war? Michelle said she's really nice. She even told her how to take care of herself. I told her to get to a police or the FBI. And if she has information on these people, maybe they could put her in a witness protection program and hide her. When this first started, she was like 17, 18 years old. She's like 24 now. She's almost young enough to be my granddaughter. Get the idea. I'm going to be 58 next week. I'm almost 60. I just look 40. Well, an agent already showed up, that Michelle showed up in his office. Told him that these people were threatening her. For telling on him that that doctor was not one of mine, but they had lied and he worked for them, and I actually don't know who he is. And that agent was off in the distance. He said, and Michelle said she's actually really nice. Really nice. And I called that Bill from the Freemason. I told him he better make sure nothing happens to Michelle. We're not interested in Michelle. She only knew of them bashing in her head. She wasn't actually the one that did it. 12/21/18 video. Police surveillance. We'll get him. Okay. When I was at Altman Family Physicians, my doctor was reading notes. Mumbles. Said some office said they had some psychiatrist evaluate her. Said she hurts herself. Nobody's to say a word because some office had them do it. Office? Dirty doctor name. I just ignore it. They had no right. They're not my doctor. HIPAA violations, privacy. Think of that. They're dirty attorney friend shyster breaking in people's homes, cyber stalking them, having the dirty doctor friend break in and stab the poor person in their sleep or lace a drink and then tell them to say something like that. And beat and rape them. Or human traffic them underdogs. And Photoshop a washing machine. Danny and Jen honestly didn't know. I asked them on Christmas Eve of 22 if they knew of button cameras into my home. They said they did not know. I said, were they kicked in my door on the 6th day to the wall? Did you know they set up on cameras? No. Did you know about a shower scene in the other room to make me look weird with myself for washing? No. I said, did you know where I had the orange lumen, bruises, grapefruit, throwing up, almost passing out? Covered in bruises. So, do you remember all that? Yeah, I remember. It kept happening. Almost passed out, even including in front of the neighbor. Yeah, I remember that. Did you know they were drugging me, beating on me, and telling me to say weirdo stuff? No. Thought you were working too hard and bruising too easy. I didn't think about it. They honestly didn't know. So I kept going back over there, where these people have even admitted that they taped my grandkids going potty. Where they did the shower scene, they were taping in the bathroom. That's child pornography. People even said they sold it. So I'm trying to let them know some perverts got pornography of them and their kids using the bathroom. And I said, do you realize how scary this is for me? That no predators were watching me. Every move I made. Do you know how scary it is? The thought they taped me in the shower and they're supposed to put that in another room to make me look weird. Shay Gabe's girlfriend went, that's scary. I said, what's really scary is I never seen her talk to anybody. I'd come in from working outside, wash my hands, make something to eat and drink, and it was a 2-liter Diet Coke. Go in, use the bathroom, wash my hands better, come out and take a drink, and the room would go dizzy and black. Wake up like that. And I thought the dirty well water was giving me cancer, and no memory of it. She's like, this is scary. I said, I know. And I thought the well water was giving me cancer. Never seen her talk to anybody. Well, April 16th, 23, Jen's mom had died. They had a memorial service. I went to it. I went to leave. Danny still don't know what I know and what I heard him. I went to get my car. Shay and Gabe walk up, my grandson and his girlfriend at the time, and Danny, my son, and his wife Jen, and the kids walk up to them. I finally went to Dad and asked him what on earth is going on. He said he had hired some guy named Pete on his own. It was Pete and his men in her home. Pete has her taped. And then the filthy, dirty statement, the drugs thing. I've never met him. And he's got her framed. Now, they already admitted years ago they drugged me and told me to say that. When they first admitted that they drugged me and told me to say that, I used to run and vomit or have diarrhea. I didn't know. I used to talk to my neighbor Jim about it. He said, I hope they're playing with you. They really didn't do something like that. I said, I had bruises all over, throwing up, infected, almost passing out. I said something was happening, and I thought it was the dirty well water. Like Walter, my friend from the Starr County Prosecutor's Office, it's a fraud scheme. Drug confessions and photoshopping and washing and stocking tapes is a fraud scheme. Took him 30 seconds. I can go through all the drugs and told to say it, times and dates, photoshopping or showering, framing me, all documented by the police and FBI. Okay? HIPAA violations, no doctor can treat you without your signed consent. It's 10-year sentence. They cannot even put their opinion on you. Nothing. HIPAA and Privacy Act. They cannot treat you with medication or any kind of drug without your signed consent. It's 20 years. It's assault and battery. Like a lady investigator said, it can be considered assault with a deadly weapon. Okay? But he honestly didn't know. At Christmas time, the twins were born in November. And I usually either buy them like one really nice Christmas gift / birthday gift. or I give them money. Well, they wouldn't make up their minds. So I dropped off their Christmas, birthday money so they could just pick out what they wanted. And I dropped it off. I went to leave, and I could hear them inside. Said, well, we all know they made up that weird with yourself. We didn't know about it. They made that up on her. I bet they made everything up on her. Because we didn't know anything about no weird with yourself. No, they didn't. Because it's photoshopped of washing. March 1st to 3rd of 21, they said they put two clips together, put her in a porn. It's not her, Sam. And then after March 13, 21, where it's just simply brushing off water with clothes on, then they started saying stuff that didn't happen to me. My stomach bleed. I was like, what else did you do to me? Then I thought, well, they put my head on somebody else's body. Then I thought, well, what would you be doing? Sounds like you undressed and got in the shower and you're washing yourself. Walked outside and smoked. She figured out what they did. May 12th, 22 at noon, they found a shower scene in the other room. May 26th, 22 at noon, the shower scene. It was done on purpose to make you look weird. At the Oakland apartment, December 9, 21, 4 p.m., that all the tapes before were them and not her. And it's just a bunch of men doing crimes down here. Same day, white man bald with dark eyes distributing food at the Stark County Hunger Task Force on 9th Street in Canton came out. We always knew the tapes before were them and not her, so we never said a word. Okay? My client on Shepherd Road in Canton, her next door neighbor in a white house, they told her in February and March of 22 that Pete ordered everything drug photoshopped and made up on me. She told the Canton police in 22. I mean, not the Canton police, but the Canton FBI. Okay. May 25th, 21, 6 p.m. of the church people breaking in before drug and tell her say word or molester stuff. That's not funny. Right after that, Memorial Day weekend of 21, the heavyset, Lauren and Michelle, that were with the cartel, one of them drove down Fairlawn while I was sitting on her front porch, yelled at the cartel, are you crazy? You can't enter a drug confession. Well, we just found out they drugged her and told her what to say before. 8/9/21, the apartment building, 42nd, close to the fence, a lady and little girls were there. Okay. And they were talking about it. And then 4 or 5 neighbors did a police report. 1295 Fairlawn. Screamed at him, talked to several people. January 19th, 22, 11 in the clock in the morning. They told the Department of Disability, the investigators, I was drugged and told to say it before. February 2nd, 22, Burlington Coat Factory, a Latino man admitted first that he drugged me first and told me to say it. Got my client away from him. We went in Save a Lot where they send their hate crime phones. People's phones are going off and people are running, oh my goodness, they admitted drug or tell her say it before. Down on 6th Street in Canton, there was a brown house. This African American guy ran out and yelled it to the postman. Postman's like, we all heard it. An investigator from Ravenna Drays of Black Sebring, he was down here. He pulled up on 6th Street, said, I seen her out today. I found out that bastard really did drug her and tell her to say it before. They admitted a frame of me March 24, 22, 1:30. Amy heard it. Everybody heard it. Officer Mark documented and verified I was framed before in August of 23, and that even some other woman was using my insurance. And it was a medication error that made me sick before. It's documented and verified she was framed before. And he said it was a drug cartel. They've seen him. See that dirty attorney and dirty doctor where Michelle tells people that doctor works for them. He works for the cartel. Get the idea. In 18, they said they were using the doctor for the Florida drug cartel. And he was even using experimental drugs. And by January, February 19, he was outside Belden and said he was waiting for me outside the food court. He wanted to meet the person he ran experiments on. I don't know. Found someone to talk to and left through Macy's. not meeting him, that he had never met me in person. See, they always knew it wasn't my doctor, it was somebody who worked for the cartel. They confessed in 18. See where the cartel threatened war? They're not the ones running it, we are. Florida is. They announced that the Florida drug cartel was running it. They said we're 3 or 4 70-year-old men that they were a gentleman's club from Florida. And they were running it. They talked about the guys running it. Okay? And that's where the great big huge bodybuilders that look like hawks showed up and were watching me. Henry Maffei's group. They all work for Judge Peters from Florida. FBI got Judge Peters and 100 men out of Florida, and they were arrested in 22. But the people that were here run it here in Ohio. It's a Florida drug cartel. And Bill from the Freemason trying to get in the Texas drug cartel. Yeah, the Kingsman. Because we all work for the King from Texas. We are his man. Dave hired us. He's a drug lord. That's where the Rockies show up. Middle Eastern men, ladies in hijabs. We're part of the big FBI nationwide human trafficking scam. I go up in Summit County. The investigators, we all know Karen's will still open. It's part of the nationwide human trafficking scam. Like they said in 18, they thought the only way into the cartel was sacrificing her. That's why they sat back and let all this happen. So they could get the cartel. Got them under police surveillance with a court order. Now, I want you to think about a few things. Now, the only thing these people have, this is how pathetic it is. In stocking tapes, they have a video, I guess, of me showering and washing myself, and they put that in another room being assholes. And they're stocking tapes that nobody knew about. They have where some shyster attorney and his dirty doctor friend are running drug scams on people on their own. And the dirty doctors breaking and stabbing poor ladies in their sleep, or lacing drinks and drugging them up and telling them to say something stupid, and beating, raping them, and human trafficking them under drugs, and drugging them and telling them to say stuff. And the poor thing wakes up and has no memory, and covered in bruises, infected, and throwing up. Runs drug scams on them. They have a roofie confession. And then they have Melissa's documented mean games of pretend, where the police came up. Melissa's so stupid she made everything up when you were fishing with Dave. She's actually that stupid she didn't check where you were. So that had been October 2018. Where on Thanksgiving of 18, a legally bugged house. I had a split level house. Downstairs was a family room, bathroom, laundry room, sectional couch, TV, fireplace. They were playing boo, trying to scare everybody. Take each person down, and then so they go, ah! So everybody's entertaining them. On the third step back up, the house wasn't meant for Grandma, it was meant for Auntie Shaw and Papa. Grandma needs to get out. Look down, they're all in a huddle talking crazy crap. I go up and sit by Dixie and the new baby. Flora runs up, they're saying mean things in the basement. And I go straight up to John. What on earth is going on? He's like, or I said, what's going on? He's like, I don't know, Mom. He said, I told Melissa you're going to be moving out. Going through a divorce. She'll just have the kids make up something, but don't worry. Nobody can say anything bad about you. She'll have her church people make up something too, but don't worry about it. Nobody can say anything bad about you. Just be made up because you're moving out and going through a divorce. You shouldn't have said anything till it happened. Well, I did. And since nobody can say anything bad about you, don't worry about it. And he shoots me. The FBI and police, since everything's out in the open, they sold a login. Who cares? They had a huddle in the front of Walmart. Why are they having those kids make that shit up? Oh, they're just trying to scare her out of the house. That's it. We interviewed her whole family. They spoke highly of her. Other police departments threw documenting games at pretend. The police even talked about Melissa could go to jail for involving herself in this, or her kids are little. We should just write it up. She was showing off for the new girlfriend of Dave's. That's what it is. Or actually wrote up. Other police departments said that they had pulled it and it's documented in games of pretend. Okay? Now I want you to think about this. All right. The police came up. Melissa's so stupid she made everything up when you were fishing with Dave. She's actually that stupid. She didn't check where you were. Now, the first lie, she was in it with the drugger and the wrong nightgown and butt lie. Bending over and probably accidentally see your butt. She was in it with that. Second lie, now on the 4th of July, they were an hour late. John and Melissa started going through a divorce. And they were doing the shared custody and it's a holiday. So he's an hour late. We're already done eating. People are drinking coffee. They come in. I get the food back out, warm up some plates of food. They take 2 bites and run to the basement. Okay? Me and Jen grab some bottles of water and we go out and sit on the front porch. And Dave, John, and Noah are playing catch. Gabe's riding around on the lawnmower. And you could hear the kids down in the family room screaming and laughing, having pillow fights. You could hear them laughing outside. Okay, we finally got too warm and we went back inside, dished up a dessert, and just not even got sat down. David comes in, John left. And I said, he didn't say goodbye. He said he's in a hurry. He had to get going. They weren't even there an hour. I only seen them at the table. Took a picture of everybody when they came in and plumped down on the couch. Okay. Heated up their food. They took 2 bites around the basement. Okay. Their second lie, they came upstairs, looked through a cracked bathroom door, and you're supposed to be aware with yourself. That's disgusting. I was outside. They never came upstairs. And who's being dirty if you're looking through a cracked bathroom door? Somebody's wiping their butt. And what if you're putting yeast infection cream on? And that makes you a peeking Tom and makes you dirty. That's stupid. Then they told me she'll have them make up something and call you a bad word. And that's all they would tell me. They told people I vandalized their church. By Christmas Eve 18, they told people I broke in somebody's home. The owners caught me. They tied me, my arms and legs to a chair. That I knocked it over, kicked it over, and jumped out a window. I'm in my 50s, and I was 200 pounds. I wouldn't even fit. And I'm old, and I would have hurt myself. That's ridiculous. Then they told people that I shot up a home and killed someone. That's Dave. Okay. October 23rd, 2019. I went to Brielle's first birthday party. We were talking about Melissa's kids saying they wanted the house for Auntie Shaw and Papa. Flora's like, that's not what they said. They said this. And it's so filthy. In front of a bunch of dolls. I didn't know till Flora stated it. I had no idea. They wouldn't tell me. Josh is like, ooh, that's not true. Don't say it again. She's like, of course it's not true. Of course it never happened. We made it up. They were games of pretend. Laughing. Sat down chuckling and couldn't quit laughing. I was horrified. January 12th, 22. Walgreens, North Main. Officer John stopped man at the door at 4:55 p.m. What did those kids get taped stating? They made everything up. Starr County Sheriff's May of 21, some guy named Kurt was involved in this, and he found out those kids were lying on Thanksgiving of 18. And they were calling him slow. Kurt just found out those kids were lying. He is slow. They were talking about that girl lying in Pennsylvania, Kentucky, and Illinois in 21. I was working with this one client. We went to Huntington Bank on October 5th, 21, and they were in there. We'd never want Melissa to get no money out of this. That's okay. They knew they made everything up. They didn't want anybody to help her. We leave. He's like, who's that crazy Melissa? Everywhere we go, all they do is talk about that girl lying. I said, my ex-daughter-in-law, friends with ex's girlfriend, had the kids make up some mean games to pretend on Thanksgiving of 18 in front of the police. He's like, is she crazy? I said, yes. Now I want you to think of this too. All they got is mean jokes. With their scenario, okay, there was never a hospital report. There was no police called. There was no prosecution because they were making up mean jokes, trying to scare me into giving up my house like the FBI. You have nothing to back the mean jokes. There is no hospital, no medical records, no police reports, and no injury. My new husband, Carl, his granddaughter, her husband hurt one of their children. She didn't report it. He's in jail forever, and she went to jail for several years for not reporting it, and she's not allowed around her child again. To me, she should have never been let out. So, see what I mean? It was just mean jokes. That's where people in Walmart, we heard she's some kind of FBI informant. She never got prosecuted because of those grandkids, or even questioned, because the police taped them saying they were lying years ago. 6.5 years ago. Thanksgiving of 18, legally bought the house. Now, I want you to think about the dirty doctor scam. That's not my doctor breaking in, drugging poor women up in their home, running scams on them. Think about that. And the filthy, dirty statement they're supposed to drug me and told me to say. There's no proof to it. All they have is a roofie of where they played a game with me and had me harmed. All they have is a roofie. Like Dr. Haben's office in North Canton, my kid's a pediatrician, is still there. He's still practicing. I looked him up. He's by the old Fishers. I went in there in 2001, 2002. He said, Karen, I never had to worry about you abusing your children. He said, I never had to worry about you harming them or them being mistreated. Never. Not even a thought of it. They've always been well taken care of. He said, but you come in here with bruises and big ones. He seen me with my canes and braces all swelled up and with bruises because even when I couldn't hardly walk from the medication areas all swelled up. Dave would just walk over and start beating on me, then be sorry for a year. First time he had a bad day. That way I just couldn't get away that time. Like he said, the only person I worry about in that household is you. You come in here with giant bruises. I never had to worry about your children. Never even had a concern. Never had to worry about them being abused, mistreated. Nothing. Never had to worry about them being neglected or not being well taken care of. I never worried about your kids, but I worry about you. You know, if you told him I was still alive, he'd be shocked. He hadn't seen me after I got well. He didn't see me. He probably thinks I'm dead. Because I was swelled up, like, my body, my legs, everything. Walking with canes and braces, swelled up huge. Like I said, the only one he worried about in that house was me. There was no any reports of abuse or neglect, nothing. Mm-mm. So where they're supposed to drug me and told me a filthy statement, there was no medical proof to back it, no police reports, no evidence of it. All they have is a roofie. You got a roofie, a mean gamer pretend, and a photoshopped of a shower scene and stocking tape by perverts running a drug scam on somebody. They have nothing. This is Bill from the Freemason scam to get in the drug cartel. May 20? Think about what day it was. I'll have to look it up. This last week, I was in Walmart again. A guy with black hair walks by. He's on the phone. Must have been with Bill. Next time you run a scam on somebody, you know what you did wrong this time? You didn't have proof of your con. You didn't have proof of your scam. Nothing to back it. You had nothing to back it at all. That's why it didn't work. Next time, do better. You get proof to back your scam. See, all they got is mean jokes, a roofie by an idiot drugging me up and telling me to say stuff, trying to post scam on me, and photoshopping and washing yourself in the shower and stocking tapes by an idiot running a drug scam. And I'd like to know why you're trying to frame Bruce Zawinski, chief of police up there. They tried to frame the Portage County sheriffs. I went up and asked him, Miss Hall, it was none of our officers in your home before. We weren't in your home or anybody else's home, nor did we have knowledge of it. And what these people did is illegal. And I'd like to know why you want to frame the Portage County Sheriffs, the chief of the Portage County Police, and what do you have against Judge Ludick and Judge Stephen? What do you have against those officers? And why are you trying to frame them for being part of the cartel and they're not? I've been trying to clear all them that it's just the cartel. Because they used to laugh at me. If it was anybody else, they'd be in jail on crimes they didn't commit. And they almost got away with it until they started breaking. And I don't like it when they frame people. Like the FBI said on April 1925 in Harville, they even framed her youngest son for that shower scene in the other room, and he didn't even know about it. He didn't know anything, and they were trying to frame him that he was part of it. While they're also trying to frame the law enforcement out there. Bill from the Freemason, he's the one selling the government technology. For Will found a way to make more money off the case, selling Logan for $25 a pop. Bill from the Freemasons. Him and his dirty doctor friend and a dirty attorney friend running drug scams on people's homes, in their homes. Like those police that were outside the other night. We found out her ex-husband hired those two men to do it to her on his own. Yeah. They already knew that. I need Officer Marker John. I need help. I let the FBI, CIA, and NSA know that the cartel's threatening war. Oh, when I went up to Ravenna, I know they all love Michelle. Michelle was like this superhero, 18-year-old bad, beautiful girl that was getting away with crimes. Teenagers loved her. She had her little own occult following. Like I said, I have nothing in my heart against her. She was no more older than what my grandchildren are now. When it started, Daniel is 17 now. And she barely looked 18. She's probably 24 now. She's just a kid. And for God's sakes, do not let the Texas group get a hold of them. They dismember people. Okay? Don't let them get a hold of her. She's just a kid. And like they said, everybody's glad she told on them. They told on themselves in 18. That's where all this is ridiculous. I'm going to upload this.